97 Steve has clarified his thing. Basically, he's asking how do we encourage leaders to check those boxes to earn them, like going to roundtable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, I think that's the age-old question for roundtable attendance is how do you get people to go to roundtable?
Correct. And it varies from district, from council. And I got to see this at the beginning of this month. So I got asked to go be a speaker at a roundtable up in Bethesda, Maryland, which is where the National Capital Area Council's like headquarters was at. So I went up there to the Marriott Center. And I walked in and there were 15 people in the round table, and majority of those people were staff members, paid executives, and like the district commissioners and things like that. And I went into my breakout room and it was me, my friend, who she asked me to come up there. And then like two other people, one person viewing online. And she told me, she's like, wow, this is actually a really good turnout. There was only 4 people there. Wow. My round table, we average about 40 people in there. Like, and that's it. Like I said, that's an average. Sometimes we'll have 50, 60, sometimes we'll have 10, depends on what's going on. So, true. and what I say, and I tell other people when I talk to them, is that you have to sell roundtable and then you have to deliver on it. And I know Stan has talked about this before, because like if I say you're going to get great training at roundtable, and then you don't get any training at roundtable that, it doesn't meet the expectations, and they think that you're just selling it and that it's just bad goods. Because like if I say, hey, you're going to get great training like this upcoming one next week, it's not. It's program launch. So you're going to find out what's in the program for next year. But if you come in May, you're going to get some great training. I think that that's all necessary.
Yeah.
Long-winded answer.
I think some of the input that we're seeing in the comments we're getting a lot going on here. So the many scouters won't put themselves in. That's one issue. Another issue with attending roundtable. If roundtable sucks, it's hard to get people to go. And it's not.
And it only takes one bad meeting. That's the thing. Right. I think all of them are like that. So
correct. And it doesn't change because you've made changes to roundtable. It takes a long time to bring somebody back or bring somebody to give it a try once they've heard or witnessed negative. So I know we have some cases of that in our council. Our council, there's varying degrees of the truth here, but they basically said around pandemic time that they were doing away with roundtables. Well, some say they never said that. Some say, yes, they did. Nonetheless, we had districts that shut down their roundtables and still to this day have not reestablished them.
So, it kind of shuts down that flow of information too.
So roundtables are a challenge if you're not putting on quality. But once you get those numbers, like Matt Scott with his area, and I saw Big Red Bus said they've got 60 plus at theirs, you've got a little bit of wiggle room of having a bad night or two, but obviously there's quality program and value being given. And that's the key to getting people to go to roundtable. The other thing too, with Cub Scout leaders, let's face it, who do you get? The parent that's not already driving their kid to soccer, driving their kid and the neighbor's kid to karate, helping with the school carnival. They're your den leaders. To give up another night without strong takeaway is a real tough thing. And so I think that's where, as a Cub master, you have to get creative and figure out how can you help them help themselves. So, but I did see, I think it was Big Red Bus that said, ask, he has solutions for roundtable.
Big Red Bus. There we go.
Absolutely. It has to have a return on investment and not just a knot.
Well, there's a lot of, we used to give away beads, and you know, it was always a big thing for all of these beaded necklaces, every bead for attending, just to recognize leaders. And you show up to a troop meeting wearing those beads or the stuff that they give you, and people kind of get curious. So that might be a way of promoting it from a district point of view.
So let me bring the unique view. I think it's cool. It would raise intrigue, but when I see somebody come with hundreds of beads, okay, that's
well, they're also the person that you go to for information because
actually,
they went to round table.
This is where I kind of draw the line and where I'm different.
Yeah.
That would discourage me because I'm looking at it going, I can never attain that level. I want something that I can work towards.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody walking in with 200 beads, I actually discredit them because they're needing to wear beads to justify how important they are. Show me
they're promoting roundtables.
Well, I think they're over promoting if they have 200 beads.
Yeah.
And that would be a turnoff to me going, you know what?
Maybe it's not for you. Don't wear the beads.
But I think that points out that you can have multiple things that entice people to go. If it's the square knot for one person, or it's the beads. I got like 3 beads here. I stopped taking them months ago because I don't need beads. It doesn't interest me. But there are parents who are in the Cub Scout breakout, and every time they'll walk up to Emily, who's my roundtable Cubs, whatever commissioner. And they're like, hey, so what bead do we got this month? You know, and they're like sitting here like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cub Scout leaders love them. They love them because the kids like them. So, you know, it's that relationship with the Cub Scouts. So,
yeah. So I think that having multiple things, whether it's like you get a patch or a pin or something like that. So I think something that show that you're going along the way, I think it helps get as many people as possible. So
let's do this. Let's try and help one of our viewers, and I'm going to ask our other viewers to jump in as well. Okay, so I got to put my glasses on. Where did it go?
I'm ready.
Eagle 97 Steve says, "Den leaders only need to attend 2 roundtables. I can't get them to go." So I'll start off. Here's my suggestion. Okay. It's kind of like getting parents in a larger den to take a den meeting. Ask them to be the unit representative at this month's roundtable and pass it around. If you have more den leaders that you're trying to get to go, then ask 2 of them to go and use the excuse, hey, if one of you misses something, the other's a backup. So they're doing something you're asking them to give back to the unit, no different than helping out at a PAC meeting. Ask them if they could do that once every 3 months, once every 4 months. Then it's not as big of a burden, and it's being presented in a way of helping the unit. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, I like that. We actually look at the numbers as far as, did we attract at least 1 leader from every unit in our responsibility? That's what we want. That's what we're shooting for. And that's, we have 60 people show up. There should be 60 different units represented. I agree with you on that. That's an important thing. You got to have some representation. It doesn't have to be the same person. You can have a rotor of some kind and, mix it up. So. But also, I've also found out that a lot of leaders that attend it like it, and they attend all of them as much as possible.
Well, and that's a great point, because just because you ask them to go for this month doesn't exempt the others from going. Because somebody catches on and says, oh, I'll go each time. That's a way to say, no, I want everybody to commit. And if you make out a schedule for the year, then they're locked into that. And so if somebody goes, hey, you know what, I go each week, it can become a social thing for your unit.
Yeah.
It could be a carpool thing if you're, depending on how far you have to travel. But that's how I would start with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's been a few years since I've had a large enough pack to worry about having leaders going to roundtable. And I've got a great charter org rep and committee chair that go regularly. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's critical positions that should be there to get the information and kind of be able to convey that information.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. So that's important.
Matt, did you have any idea or suggestion or idea?
Yeah.
Mine is so individual. I can't pronounce the word. So it's so to the individual, because when I sit there and I'm talking to a person and I'm like, I would really like this parent to go to roundtable, I sit there and I start talking to them about like why did they get their kid into scouting? And if they're like, hey, I really like that when we go camping and we do these things, I'm like, cool. Like, how would you like to lead a camp out? Like, would you actually like want to be the one like to do it? I'm not saying that you have to like go above and beyond or anything like that. I'm like, would you like want to plan a camp? I was like, is there something that interests you? I'm like, cool. Like, if you want to do that, like, you have to do these few things, and then you just have to do like a Baloo training, and then you can, if you want to get some ideas, come to roundtable. Me and Emily and Eric, and that's my other commissioners out here. It's like, we could sit down, talk with you, and you can bounce ideas up of other people. And I got that person to come. Or one of the packs that I'm a commissioner for, I made it a goal, and I said, hey, your guys' goal for this quarter is that I want, one adult to attend 2 roundtables. And just, they're very goal oriented, those people, I found out through this. So even me just saying that, boom, like the next week, I looked over and the Cub Master, who I've never seen there before, was there. And I was super excited to see him there. I didn't know that I just had to say, hey, it's a goal for you guys to do that. And that was something like of an objective for him to get after. So I can't provide a blanket one except for selling it, like we've already talked about, selling roundtable and then having it meet that expectation. Because Big Red Bus says, it has to be a good ROI, return on investment, and all that. So
exactly.
But I really do try to get into what makes that person tick and why it is, because some people, it's like, I hate to say it, but I look at some people and I don't ask them to come to roundtable because I know that they're not going to want to come anyway, and if they do come, it's not going to be beneficial to them because they just they're not in that mindset yet. Doesn't mean that they can't be in the future. It's like maybe I'm limiting them in that way, but I do look at some people. I'm like, okay, I can invite you, but if you don't show up, I don't think that it's harming anybody, sort of thing.
Well, it's best to have good participation, regardless, as much as possible, so that information doesn't die on the vine. It should migrate from roundtable into your unit. That's somehow, and if you're not there to pick the grapes, guess what? You're going to have raisins. That's just how that works. So definitely roundtable. Oh, and did I mention roundtable?